Hey, Mike with Mike's Bags, and today I'm reviewing the Guardian by Brotherhood Cornhole. First bag reviewed by Brotherhood. I wasn't sure what to expect. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'll let you know when I found out about this bag. We'll start with the materials. Let's start with the fast side here. This is a familiar material. This is that game changer, surefire fast side. 8.5 speed. It's fast, somewhat controllable. Slap any board conditions, push or anything. Wonderful fast side material on this. Slow side. This, it looks like, it feels like, it plays like that Viper R carpet. It's not quite the same carpet. I kind of looked at it and compared it. It's slightly different. I'm guessing it's from the same manufacturer. It's in that same kind of carpet family, but it's a little different than what Ultra uses on the Viper R. But for the review purposes and for you guys to think about how this plays, it plays just like that Viper R material. So you're looking at about a 5-speed, I'm gonna call it on this bag. 5-speed on the slow side. It's very hole friendly for being a kind of a slower controllable material. It's very versatile. You can control it really well, but you can also slide it in the hole and play hole for hole with it. So it's a wonderful material. So looking at a 5 on the slow, 8.5 on the fast. Template wise in this bag really confused me for a bit. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's got, before we go to template, let's go to flop here. Right, this bag's got a decent amount of flop to it. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a floppy bag, but I no means is it a full bag. And so when I get bag that has a little more flop to it, I think the bag's on kind of on the larger side of the template. But the weird thing is this bag is really kind of on the smaller side. It's that medium, small to medium template. You know, it's on the smaller side. I don't know if I call it a small template. When I think of small template bags, I think of fuller bags, fuller, puffier bags. This is not full and puffy. So that's what kind of confused me. Right? It's a smaller template, but it has some flop to it, has some forgiveness to it. It plays more like a larger template bag, which is a little weird. Not a bad thing. I was actually really enjoyed it when I get to playing. I'll get into that playability in a minute. But anyway, template-wise, kind of that small to medium template. The fill in here is, I think it's mostly that flat fill. Every now and then I feel something that feels like maybe it's a B, but I think it's just kind of a little irregular shaped flat piece of fill there. So I think it's mostly, if it's not 100% flat fill, it's mostly that flat fill. Maybe some beads mixed in occasionally, but most of that flat fill gives it a wonderful hand feel to it. Even though you've got some flop to it, it actually has enough fill that when you grab it, you can lock it down. The bag's not flopping around. So I really like the hand feel of it. I think it's wonderful. It's because of this flat fill in here, the bag lands pretty softly. Very little kick to it. I mean, you're going to get some kick, but that kick also means the bags, you can cut it. It's a little more controllable. So it's kind of true. But really, it doesn't kick that bad. So if you don't throw a perfectly flat bag, it's not going to penalize you, punish you like a traditional carpet bag would. So it lands pretty soft, runs pretty straight and true up the board. Let's go ahead and jump into playability on this. And this is a bag, I'm going to call it a versatile bag. You can play a dirty style game with this. You can definitely control this material and throw blockers up there. Even though it's got some flop to it, it's not overly floppy, so it doesn't accordion up like super floppy bags do. So you're going to collect it, you just clip a corner and take it in. I found it to be very collectible. Because it's a smaller template bag, you've got to be a little more aggressive with your blocks, right? If you put a block down the middle, it doesn't take up a ton of real estate, so your opponent can kind of step out and get around it. So you've got, if you're going to throw a blocker, you got to be a little more aggressive to get over on your opponent's side, which means you've got to be a little more, you got to do a little more creative to collect it. I mean, you know, if you don't go too far over, you can come down the middle, or come down the middle a little over on your opponent's side and kind of collect it and draw in. And again, you clip that corner, you can take it in. So I didn't have a problem. Like, I did not have an issue throwing blockers over there and collecting it. I think it's very collectible. I think you can play that dirty style game. It's not a bag that I'm going to go into the attention of a game and say, I want to play a completely dirty style game the whole time. I think this is a bag where I want to either run bags in the hole with it or play a little bit of a mixture. You know, run bags a little bit, throw a round or two here of dirtiness, and then kind of just mix them. I think that's where this bag shines, because really, for me, you can run bags in the hole with this wonderfully. For being a bag that has a mostly flat fill in it, I didn't have a problem with the bags hanging in the hole. Typically, traditionally, flat fill, I have issues with bags hanging in the hole. They're not hole friendly. That's why I tend to like that bead fill more, because I think the bead fill is a lot more hole friendly. I didn't really have that problem with this. I mean, the bags that I recall that hung in the hole, they were very easy to collect. I had no problems clipping them and collecting them, taking them in. I think this material, again, is very controllable in the fact that I can throw a cut. So if I got a bag hanging on one side or the other, I can come through with a cut, catch it, and pull it right in fairly easily. So I wasn't afraid to put bags over on the sides. I wasn't afraid to go after bags that were there. I just found the bag very collectible, very friendly around the hole. I think with this floppiness, you get a lot of forgiveness. So typically the smaller template bag I talk about, they're usually fuller fuller, puffier bags. And when I talk about the landing zone, the forgiveness rate, and the forgiveness of the bag, those fuller, puffier bags have a smaller landing zone, less forgiving. But because, you know, this has some flop to it, it really has a normal to maybe a little bit bigger than normal landing zone. And what I mean is, you know, when it goes up there, if you're a little off left or right, as long as you could catch a corner in the hole, it was going to grab it and spin around and come back in, or even if it hung there. For the most part, like I said, it was pretty collectible as long as it wasn't my last bag. So I found the bag to be very forgiving around the hole. It was very forgiving on the landing. So, you know, it didn't kick, it didn't penalize you a ton. I found it to be very collectible. You could shape shots, you know, you could throw cuts with it. I do think there's enough fill here, and I do think this is a bag that's probably rollable, floppable. You can do a lot with it. Again, that's not my style of game, but I really feel like that you can do that. So it's really a very versatile bag, and it can do a lot of things, and I think it falls in that middle ground where if you're a type of player that you like to mix it up, right? And that's something I like to do. Like, I don't always want to go in and just do a hole for hole game. I don't always want to go in and play a dirty style game. I like to play a little. I like to mix things. I like to go from round to round, change things. I like to throw, you know, 2 bags in, throw a 3rd bag blocker, throw my opponent off, or play 3 rounds of just bag for bag in the hole, and then the 4th round, let's play a dirty style game. And just that's the type of guy I like to change things up. And this is a wonderful bag for that because it can do everything, right? It can do it all to some degree. Maybe it doesn't really, it's not the best at rolling. It's not the best at cutting. It's not the best at the whole friendliness, but it does everything really well. So, you know, it's not the top of the category of any one category, but it's right there near the top in all the categories. And I had a blast. I really, really was surprised by this bag. It's something that it's going to compete for a spot in my backpack because that's just how much I loved it. It really fit into my sweet spot. That 5-8 speed material really falls in where I like to play bags. So I had a blast with it. I do think it's also a wonderful material, wonderful bag for humid conditions. Both these materials are going to play pretty well in humidity. So if you live in an area where it gets humid, it gets sticky and damp, this is still a bag that will still move and slide, but still be playable in those conditions. So for all that, I love the bag. I do recommend this. Now, availability on the Guardian. Brotherhood has a website, brotherhoodcornhole.com. I went on there. They have quite a few bags in stock. They had quite a few different colorways. The Guardians, they're pretty readily available. The bags were right about $80. It was like $79.95 or something for that, which is a great price. I don't know if I mentioned these bags are ACL stamped for 2023. These got the comp stamp on them. So if you play an ACL event, this is an $80 stamped bag that's really comparable to that Viper R. I mean, it's almost half the price of that Viper R. If you like that Viper R, I would challenge you to get a set of these Guardians and give them a try. I think you might find that this bag is just as good, if not better, than that Viper R. And I know I probably shouldn't say that. Some of you Ultra fans are really going to attack me. I challenge you to get a set, try them out, and compare them, see if you like them. I really do. This is a bag that I would recommend over the Viper R, I think, all day long. Loved it. So check out BrotherhoodCornhole.com. I'll put a link in the description of their website. They also have a Facebook page for the business, and they have a fan group page. A link to both of those will be in the description as well. You want to make sure you like the Facebook page, join the fan group so you're aware of upcoming drops or whatever they got going on. So definitely check out Brotherhood Cornhole. Check out the Guardian. If you've thrown it, let me know your feedback. You like it, hate it, whatever. I want to hear what you think about it. And let me know what other bags you like from them, what you want to see me review next for Brotherhood. So I thank you guys so much for support, and I thank you for watching.